Hello guys, this is kinda wait, it's kinda dark. Yeah, I think you guys can see me. It's kinda dark. I'm sorry. So today live is gonna be for the application form. I already print out the papers, and I already put in here in the description box of this live some of the information that I found for research scholarship, for the undergraduate scholarship, and for the specialized scholarship. So I found out that I have in here printed the research, no, sorry, the undergraduate and also the specialized, and they are kind of similar. The application form, like basically, like they just change like the career that you want to study. Like you have two options or you have three options. So let's go through that. Like, so let me know, like there are 9 people. So let me know if you guys already print out this application form. Which questions do you have about the application form so I can help you out? So I'm gonna start kind of reading the application form and telling you guys some of the things that I think is really important when you guys try to do this, when you guys like had to fill out this form. So let's start with the specialized training, okay? So let's see. This one is a specialized training. So the first one is just your name. So many people get confused for the like a surname or the giving name. And usually I get confused with that too. So the surname is the family name. Like for example, Latin people has 2 names, that is from their father for the mother. So you have to write that one in the first one, and then your name and middle name. So that's like the point that I wanted to make in this one. Then the number 2 is the gender. You have to choose if you are male or female. Number 3, you have to choose if you are single or married. The number 4 is your nationality. So in this case, there is people that may have both. Like for example, I don't know, like American and another one. So just write both. Then you have the Japanese nationality. If you have it or no, you have to fill out that. And if you have it, you should put like which year is the expatriation date. Like I don't know how to mention that, but you have to write it like the full year and the month. The number 6 in the application form is the day of birth. You have to put like, it's written like years in 4 digits. It means like, for example, like me, it was 1995. So you have to write the 4 digits. Then like month and day. So then we have the current address. So in this address, you have to put it like in English. Try to translate it in English. And the country, of course, like if it's Costa Rica, just put Costa Rica, not Costa Rican. Then if you are already living in Japan, there's people that are living in Japan and they are already filling out this from Japan. So you have to put the address in there. Then we have, this is all in number 7. And then there is one important point in here, that is the address before the departure of Japan. And why this is important for you guys? Because the scholarship is going to pay you for your home country to Japan. So if, for example, you apply to this year, if you apply this year and you apply in Costa Rica and you write out in the application form that you are from Costa Rica, and then in April next year, when you are going to go to Japan, like before going, you go and travel and you're going to be in the United States, but you want your plane ticket. There is in here specified that for you, the only way for you to get the plane ticket is if the address is in your home country. They don't pay plane tickets from United States if you are from Costa Rica. In my case, when I came back from Japan, I wanted the plane ticket to be from Japan to United States, but I'm from Costa Rica. When I applied in Costa Rica, so they give me the plane ticket to go to Costa Rica, not to United States. So that's something really important that you guys have to like take in mind, that in the address before the departure should be the address in your home country so you can get the plane ticket. And then there is the office when you are going to apply. This is the embassy of your country. For example, Costa Rica is a small country. Costa Rica only has one embassy, but for example, United States, it has like so many states, and each state has like an embassy. So you have to specify in which embassy you are applying for the scholarship. And then you have to put a phone number and an email. In this case, phone number, I recommend you to put your family phone number, because if it's your own, like it's specifying in here that the phone number and the address, like most of anything, the email address has to be available like from this year that you are going to apply, for next year that you're going to go to Japan, the 3 or 5 years that you're going to be in Japan, and after when you go to Japan. So let's talk in here something like more like serious. We all know that the first email address that we wrote, it was like really random. There are so many people that have like, I don't know, Hello Kitty tree at gmail.com. But this is like a really important like process. This is a really important application. So I recommend you guys, like if you have one of these like random email address, to make one that is like more official, that is more serious, and make sure that you're gonna have this email address for the rest of your life, or you're gonna use it from now until you come back from Japan, because they are gonna send you information in that email address. This is really important. In the case of the phone number, if you put your own phone number, like when you go to Japan, you're gonna change it, no? So what is gonna happen with that phone number? They cannot contact you. So what I did is like I put my mom's phone number because I know that she wasn't gonna change it ever. So when they wanted to contact me, they contact my mom. So that's something to take in mind. Then let's go with the second page. I hope like all of you guys already have it, but let's go with the second one. The second one is the present status. It means that if you are a student, if you're employed, and if you're a student, which school, which university, or if you are studying like in independent, for example, like you already finished high school and you are studying like, I don't know, online or something like that, you have to specify that in here. And then if you are working, like in this case, I think it's not part-time job, it's like full job, because you have to put the name of the company, or you can put others. For example, you are not doing anything, you are taking 1 year, that is free year, you have to specify that in the form. Then number 9, sorry. The number 9 is the specialized field of studying high school or university. In this, I know, like for example, in Costa Rica, I was in a scientific high school. So that was the specialized field, the scientific high school. So there is different like high schools in other countries that is like, I don't know, technical high school, that is a private high school, and all of this. You have to specify what kind of high school you are in and what kind of university. That if you are studying in a university technology, so you write in there that you are in the field of technology of your university. Then let's go with the number 10. This is kind of like difficult because so many countries, like they write it in here like Japan or United States. And I know in Costa Rica we have high school from 12 years until we are like 18 or we are 17. So this is a little bit difficult. This I already specified in one video. That was the video about the application in English. I specified this part that because they ask you the primary education, and in the primary education you should put like from which year and month, and then the count of all the years that you were studying in that primary. And then you have the lower education, that is like middle school or the junior high school. And then you have the upper one, that is the high school. So in that video, I already specified this, so I'm not gonna do it right now because it's like, I don't know, if you already saw that video, it's gonna be like repetitive. So I'm not gonna specify this. This part of the application form, I already did it. So go and watch that video so you can see like which years, and for example, what is high school if you don't have in your home country middle school and high school, from which year until which year you are actually in middle school and which year you are in high school. That thing is important to know because in Japan, they also have that system. Costa Rica doesn't have that system. Costa Rica just have like primary school and then high school, but Japan doesn't do that. Then you have the higher education, that if you went to undergraduate, for example, in my case, when I applied for this scholarship, I was studying in university in Costa Rica. I was in my first year. So in here, you have to write it down. Like how many years, for example, I went only 1 year. So you just put from this date until this date. You have to put the whole education in this part. And in the end, in here, it says like if the space wasn't enough, you should specify in this space in here in the second page of the application form, like the more studies that you had. For example, if you went to different universities, like you cannot like put the name of the university and then there's no more spaces. So you put it in the other side. Don't put everything in here, but specify it in the second place. Then let's go to the third page of the application form. As I said, I'm specifying the specialized training. Then the third one are some questions. So for example, the first one is like, have you been awarded a Japanese Mext scholarship in the past? So if you already received the scholarship, you have to put yes. If you didn't, you say no. So this is like more yes or no questions. And then if you have like special aid, so what they want to like make sure in here, most of anything, is like when you receive the Mext specialized scholarship or the Mext undergraduate, you go to Japan, you cannot apply for 2 scholarships at the same time. You have, if you get one, the Mext scholarship, you should survive only with that scholarship because like it's like prohibited to get both. So they want to make sure you know that. And in these questions, you should answer all these questions because it's really important for them that you know this. I'm gonna see that a little bit in here. Yeah, it's better, the lighting. So let's go with the number 14. Number 14 is one of the most important questions of this application form. Why? Because this is the reason they are gonna choose if you are actually like good to get the scholarship or no. Why? Because in here, every person are gonna write it different. The other ones that I just said are questions that are more like personal questions. But in number 14, that is the preferred field of study and subjects in Japan, like you are gonna compete with so many other people based on this and based in the test and also based in your interview. So let's see which questions are these. So for example, the first one is the field of study. And I print out that too. For the specialized training, there are some fields of study. There are until F. We have the technology, personal career education, education welfare, we have business, fashion, and culture and general education. So how do you fill this form? So you have to check both of the applications. You have to check the application in here, and then you should check in here the fields of study. So there is one thing that is important to know while like filling this part, and it's like the name of the field of study. You have to choose only one field of study. So if you have a career, for example, you want to choose from technology, civil engineering, but you're interested on study also music, they are totally different fields of study. So you should choose only one field. It means that if you choose architecture, you have to write the second option, that ones that are inside the technology field. Because in the application form, you should specify in here the field of study and the code of the field. And then the 2 choices from that field. So you cannot choose like music and architecture, they are totally different. At least that's what the application form says. And then, let me see, I'm in the first semester of the university. I have to write down information about that. I mean, I'm not even done with the whole year of university. I finished high school in the past year. So in this case that you are in university, like when you're gonna apply, I think you're from Costa Rica. So in August, you're gonna finish already the first semester, no? So you should write it in there because like you are still studying and you are gonna finish the first semester before you even apply for the test. So you should put in there from this date, just don't write until which date, just put from this year, from this month, and then put the other one in blank or put a line or just write down under all the application, just specify that you are still studying. So you are in the first semester and you are like waiting for that to see what is gonna happen. But you should write like you're in university right now and which university, and you should specify that you are in the first semester. Then, as I was saying, after you choose the field of study, that is kind of different. And in here, in the paper that they give you, they tell you that you have different, like, you have all the fields of study, and then you have the, how do you say it? The careers. So in this case, they say that they have the whole list of careers and they have more or extra. So when they say that they have extra, you can actually ask the embassy like which career you are gonna choose. For example, I was checking and they don't have industrial design engineering, so you can ask them like which one is gonna be for the industrial design engineering. Are you gonna translate this to Spanish? Actually, like I can say in Spanish right now. Let me cut it and I'm gonna say in Spanish really quick this part more of anything, and then I'm gonna continue in English, okay? So everyone can understand. Voy a decirlo en español rápido. Las primeras preguntas, lo que estaba diciendo, las primeras 2 páginas es más que todo información personal que tienen que rellenar, nombre, nacionalidad. Lo de los años de estudio, ya yo eso lo especifiqué en uno de los videos, que fue el video de la aplicación. En ese video ya yo dije cómo se separaba, por ejemplo, algunos países que son de Costa Rica, ejemplo, no tenemos lo que es la separación del middle school y del high school. Entonces, en esa parte, ya yo lo especifiqué en un video, quiero que lo vayan a ver. Y ahora les dije las preguntas acá, las preguntas de la tercera página de esta forma, de este formulario, es porque es importante que lo respondan todos. Responden sí o no, porque usted no puede tener 2 becas en Japón al mismo tiempo. Si usted recibe la que es Mext, usted no puede optar por ninguna otra beca y eso lo tienen ellos ahí como una ley. Entonces usted tiene que ponerlo sí o no. Y ahora estoy en la parte de lo que es las áreas de estudio. Entonces estaba diciendo que usted solamente tiene que escoger una área. Entonces le dan una lista grande, le dan por acá áreas y le dan las carreras de cada área. En la formulario de aplicación solo le dicen que escoja un área y 2 carreras de esa área. Entonces, lo que yo estaba diciendo es que si usted pone, por ejemplo, música y usted pone lo que es business, no puede porque son 2 áreas distintas. Entonces, tiene que ponerlo de un área y las 2 carreras. Ahora voy a continuar con inglés y después me vengo al español de nuevo, ¿ok? So, sorry that I was talking in Spanish because I want everyone to understand this, so I don't have to make so many live and videos talking about it. Wakarimasen. Simasen. Kyo ego to spengo dake hanashimasu. Okay, so, the number 14. Number 14 is one, like, most important. So, 14, 15, and then we have 17. These are the most important questions of this form. Why? Because after you choose your career, you have to tell them why you chose this career. And let me tell you an example. For example, I want to study architecture. And then you, I don't know if any of you are from Indonesia or all these countries, you're from Indonesia. And you want to study architecture too. But if I put in my first choice that I want to study architecture because, I don't know, I just want to make buildings. And yeah, I want to go to Japan and I just want to see the culture in Japan. But then the person from Indonesia wrote in this form that he wants to study architecture because he's really passionate about the architecture in Japan, all the shrines, all the temples, all the old buildings and how Japan combined the old buildings with the new buildings and with all these renewable energy things inside the buildings, all the innovation. Of course, the people are gonna see my application form and it's gonna say, oh, this lady doesn't even know what she wants, she just wants to go to Japan because she just wants to study for free and she doesn't even know anything about architecture. They're gonna see that other person from Indonesia and they're gonna say, yeah, this person have a really clear idea of what they want to study. So we're gonna give the scholarship to this person from Indonesia. So this specific part that is the number 15 is the most important one. So in this part, let me tell you an example. So in this part is like writing an essay to enter a university. People that are gonna choose who is gonna enter are gonna have 2 buckets. So you have to make sure from this bucket, so many people in this bucket, you're gonna be the best. And to be the best is to write down in here the best answer that you can. And with this, I recommend you to go and search. If you are gonna study music, go and do your research on internet and say, okay, how is the music in Japan? How is the education in Japan from music? What can I learn that I cannot learn in my country? So in that way, when you write your essay in here, your answer is like an essay, it's just like a paragraph. When you write that answer, your answer is gonna be better than from people from another countries. Because as I said before, this scholarship is not only in your home country. Your home country is gonna choose you from your country and they are gonna send all the application form to Japan. And Japan is gonna see all the applications from all around the world and they are gonna choose. so many people have been asking me on Instagram, like if they have a specified number of people that they are gonna choose every year. And as far as I know, they don't have that. When I went to Japan, in Costa Rica, like my two friends and me, actually, we got the scholarship and we went. But we were three that year. The next year after us, there was only one from Costa Rica. Then I think it was no one. Then I think it was one again. So it's not like they're gonna say, okay, every year we're gonna give 3 scholarships to one country. No, they don't have like a specific number of people that they're gonna give per country. It can be no one from your country this year, or it can be like, I don't know, 5, 6 people. It all depends on what you're writing here, and it all depends on your test. And also, so many people is like really like worried about like the test, like they don't know Japanese, they don't know English, or like they don't know mathematics. As I explained so many times, the test is gonna be a balance. So you're gonna make your mathematics test and you go like a 80 in that test because you're really good, you have like a really good mind. Then you go and do your English test, and that English test is gonna be like 50. So combined is gonna be like 130. Then you go and do the Japanese and you get like, I don't know, a 70. So you're gonna have 200. And then that 200 divided per 3 is what you are gonna like get that score based on the scholarship. So they're gonna give a score from the 3 tests. And they also gonna send the score from the 3 tests separately. And then they're gonna give you a score of this form. They also gonna give you a score based on the interview. At least that's what they did when I got the scholarship. And then after, they are gonna like say like, okay, so based on everything that you just give us, all the papers are correctly, or the papers are clean, or the papers are organized. We don't have to take so much time to see this person, like, I don't know, like if this person give me the diploma or no. This person is already organized. This person give the embassy every single paper. The embassy doesn't have to be rushing that person to give the papers. When they see that you actually submit everything that they are asking, they're gonna be, okay, so this person like really deserves to get this scholarship. We're gonna recommend it to this country. And then let me check in here because it's passing like that list of field of study also applies for the postgraduate application form. So Luis Carlos, you asked for the postgraduate, it means the research. In the link of this video, I put a link for each of the scholarships. I put one for undergraduate, one for research, and I put one for specialized. So when you click in the research, you're gonna find all the information in there. You're gonna find like the fields of study. You're gonna find like the recommendation letter that I'm gonna talk about that later. You're gonna find this application, but this application I was reading, and these questions are like so similar from research, undergraduate, and specialized. They have the same questions because these 3 questions that I said, which like field of study, why that field of study, why Japan, and all of this, they are gonna be like the same. So let's go now with the number 16 of the question number 15. It's kind of confusing, but it said, what was the trigger for having an interest in Japan? This, I was talking about this last time, and I was saying that you're not gonna write in this kind of like application, oh yeah, I like Japan because yeah, Japan is pretty cool. It has like, anime and manga, and I like to read anime, and I don't know, I just want to go and meet people from Japan. If you write that, if I'm the one giving you the scholarship, I'm not gonna even read all your application. I'm gonna be like, seriously? Like, everyone wants to go to Japan because Japan has anime, manga. Like, everyone wants to go to Japan from Totoro or like, I don't know, Ghibli Museum and all of this. You have to write something that is different from everyone. Like, Japan has so many things. Japan is not only anime. Japan is not only like manga. You have to write so many things. Like for example, do you research like, I don't know, like culture? What is in the culture that is different from your home country? Like, what trigger you like from Japan? And you saw the anime, you are like learning about some culture of Japan. So you're not gonna write in here anime. You can write in here the culture of Japan. And what of the culture in Japan? You can be based, of course, you can base your answer in anime, but you can say like, okay, I like how they respect each other. I like, I don't know, like in the train that they are silent. I like I don't know how hardworking they are. I like when I see like from that side that there are so many people that they work hard to get like to be better in school or stuff like that. Write something that is different, because I'm pretty sure so many people are gonna write like, anime, manga, and no, that's not the only reason Japan is good. So I already wrote in here something, a video, like good things that for me, like I said that Japan has. So if you want to check that video and get some idea from there, you can do it. But I want you guys to like think number 15, number 16, number 14, something that is going to take you out from that bucket of people that are applying for the same scholarship as you. Then now let's go with the next one. Number 17. Number 17 says, what kinds of things do you think you can contribute to Japan in your home country through your experience studying in Japan? So this is also really important one. Why? Because you're going to Japan with a full scholarship. The scholarship is going to be free. They are paying for you. And let me tell you, the schools that they send you to study, they are really expensive. I wouldn't pay the school that I went. They are usually, if you go to specialized training, they are like private schools. They send you to this like Japanese school for a whole year. In a real, like if it's in Tokyo, they're gonna send you to Bunka Institute of Language, for example. And that's like the Bunka University is like really famous university from fashion. So the school of Bunka, the Institute of Language, is really expensive. So they're paying all of this for you. So you should have like at least a really good reason to say, okay, I'm gonna go to Japan. As example, I'm giving free classes now of Japanese. So of course I didn't go to Costa Rica. I graduated and I came to study in Japan because I got married. I'm married now. So I didn't contribute as much because I'm not working in Costa Rica, but I'm giving free classes in Japanese. I learned Japanese for free in Japan. So I'm returning some of that. I'm teaching Japanese, I'm giving videos about culture, I'm giving all this information about the scholarships. I'm contributing something to the country, to Costa Rica, to the people that I got for free based on this scholarship. Also, I studied architecture, so I did a research in Costa Rica based on the things that I learned in Japan, based on that, and I contribute to Costa Rica in that. So I want you to think something like that. It's like, okay, you're going to study music, and you're going to study music in Latin America. We know that Latin America is really difficult to be famous, like only like you are Puerto Rican or stuff like that. But Costa Rica, for example, Nicaragua, Panama, it's really difficult to be really famous in music. So if you're going to study music, for example, and you're from like a country that is really difficult to be famous on that, you're going to say, okay, I'm going to go and study in Japan. And I want to go and study in Japan music. I want to go and study this specific kind of music. And when I go back to my home country, I want to contribute like in the music area, because in my home country, the music is like really difficult for people to study. It's expensive. We cannot get famous. So I want to like give back some of my knowledge for free, or I want to contribute to people in my home country to be better in this area, to the country to become better in this area. So in that way, you can contribute with your country. And how do you contribute to Japan? Teaching other people about the culture, teaching other people what you learn. In my case, I did architecture. I learned in that wind tunnel. So I did the research for Costa Rica with a professor in Costa Rica, and we actually work on that. So it's like I was giving also the Japanese culture inside my research. I was teaching other people. Right now, I'm helping you guys get more about the scholarship. So I want you in this area, in specific, be like super think about it. You just don't go and fill out like randomly like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to Japan, I'm gonna go in my home country, and yeah, I'm gonna work and I'm gonna get in a good company, and I want to do something like good in my company. What do you want to do good in your company? What thing that you're gonna do to contribute your country is gonna be different from people from another countries? I want you to think that every time that you fill out these questions. My answer is gonna be really good, that they are gonna choose me over other people, or my answer is basic, like anyone can answer this. And how do you know that? Like like ask your friend, ask like me, you can send me on Instagram, like is what I be, like you can send me your application form if you want. And like all I list these questions, and you can, like, I don't know you, I don't know your home country, I don't know who you are, I don't know how, like, what do you do. So when I read it, I don't know anything about you. So I'm gonna read it, I'm gonna say, oh, okay, yeah. And maybe, like, I can think this too, or oh wow, this is gonna be really good. I want you to do that. Fill out these questions and then send it to people that doesn't know you, or send it to people that know you, but people that doesn't actually, like, are not so close to you, because the people from the embassy, they are not gonna be close to you. They don't know anything about you. They are gonna know you based on this. So these questions, these answers have to be the best answers that you can give to other people. So the 17, 16, and 15, I want you to think a lot for these questions. I don't want you to fill out this in the computer and say, okay, yeah, it's ready, and send it. I want you to write it down in a, like, I don't know, in a notebook, or I want you to write it down in, I don't know, in a paper, and think about it, like, a lot, like what difference you are making from another people around the world. So let's go with the next one. The next one is the language ability. So you can see that the next one is number 18. You have number 18 and number 19. The number 18 is like your abilities, and the number 19 is gonna be based on test. Which one? The GLPT that we all know now. I hope that the GLPT is the Japanese proficiency test. And the levels are from N1 until N5, I think. And then you have, for example, the TOEFL, the ELTS, or you have like the TOEIC or any English proficiency test. But what is the difference between 18 and 19? Someone asked me that one of these days. And 18 is what you think you are good. For example, they have Japanese. Reading, you don't know any Japanese. Don't write down in here that you are really good in Japanese if you don't know anything. Be honest in this answer. Japanese, you don't know anything. And then in here they have that if you know everything, you have to put excellent. If you know like so, you put good. If you know like just a little bit, you put fair, or 0 if you don't know anything. So if you don't know anything about reading in Japanese, it means that you cannot read any kanji. Like, if you cannot read any kanji at all, you cannot read hiragana, you cannot read katakana, put 0. Don't put 1, don't put 3. Then if writing, you can write a little bit, you can write at least, katakana, hiragana, put at least 1, fair, or like if you know more, like some kanjis, put good. Don't put excellent if you cannot talk the language, if you cannot read a lot, if you cannot like listen a lot or speaking a lot. Be honest on that answer. Then if you know until N5 in Japanese, can I put 1 on those? So the N5 is the beginner's level. So of course you can put like, yeah, I think you can put like even good, depending of how much reading you know, because the Japanese proficiency test, like they make it like to see like how good you are in Japanese, but there are so many people that they are better of what the test said. There are so many people that they are worse of what the test say if you pass the test. And because I knew many people in Japan, we did that test. I did that test in Japan, and I knew so many people that knew a lot of Japanese. Like someone that I was writing in here, Agustin, he knows a lot of Japanese. He knew a lot of Japanese. And then if you apply for the N5, but you know a lot, of course you're gonna get the N5 because you only apply for that test in specific. So just think about you. You have the N5, but after you did the N5, did you study more? Do you know more about Japanese? Can you read? Can you listen? Can you speak more Japanese than the N5? Because the N5 is the super like basic. So of course it's gonna be like fair or good. Because I think like listening, like even if you are level M5, you can at least like practice listening and get better on that. But this is not based on the test score. This is based on you. What do you think that you know? So write that from 3 to 0, but be honest. And also like Japanese, if you know already hiragana, katakana, do like, don't put 0, because we all know that in this test for this year, is like a requirement that you should know Japanese. So if you put Japanese, everything 0, when they read your form, they're gonna be like, this person doesn't know anything at all. So this person doesn't meet the requirements. So, si eso, yeah. Sorry, I'm gonna answer some questions because it's going fast. He said that también siempre tengo una duda en la parte en la que pide el nombre. Uno puede tener un pasaporte activo solo para llenar la solicitud o cuenta el nombre de cédula. Okay, so this person is asking me, like, he's from Costa Rica too, and he said in the part of the name that if you have the passport active, but only the, like, to fill out this, or you can put the name on your ID. So actually, when you get a passport, the passport that you're gonna get is based on the ID that you're gonna get. Like in Costa Rica, the cédula is gonna be the same as your passport. At least that's what's for me. So if you only have the cédula, the ID, you can put your name based on the ID. And then after, when you go and apply for the passport, you have to make sure your name is the same, you know? That's the thing that they want. And then that list of field of study also applies for the postgraduate. I already answered that one. Is this process similar to the undergraduate? Yes, I have in here the application form from the undergraduate. And actually, the questions are actually the same. But the only difference from undergraduate and the specialized training that I'm explaining right now is that they have in here number 9, the specialized field of study or high school. Yeah, that's the same. They have in here something different. Is the number 14, like you have to choose between natural science and social science or humanities. This is different from the specialized training. Specialized training, you have the big list of the fields of study that you can study, and you have the big list of careers. But in the undergraduate, you have 2 to choose from: the social sciences or humanities and the natural science. And then after, you have 3 options to put off career. The specialized training only have 2 options. The undergraduate has 3 options. So that's the difference. But actually, the application form, the questions are super similar. You also have to think why you choose every of them. They also have the question about why Japan. And they also have the question about the things that you're going to do after you return. So yeah, the undergraduate and the specialized are super similar. The research also have the questions of why Japan. They also have the questions of why this career, why this research. They also have the question of the things that you're going to do after you come from your country. So they all have these 3 questions because these 3 questions are the most important ones in the application form. So I'm gonna continue with the specialized training. And if you have more questions about the undergraduate, I have in here the papers too, so you can ask me. And then just English have improving considerably. Thank you. And then great information. Thank you. Wakarimashita. Arigatou gozaimasu. Do itashimashite. And then you're the best man. Thank you. And then you have, I applied 2 times, but obviously I was not selected. I thought it was for the exam, but you said that it's really important what I write in the form. So yeah, it's also important what you write in the form because, like, as I said before, like all the process doesn't mean only your test results. Like if it will be only the test result, they wouldn't give you this whole paper. They wouldn't give you these 4 pages. They wouldn't give you all this information. Everything is important. Every single paper, as I said in the past live stream, if they ask you, give me an apple, bring an apple with your application form, you go and bring an apple to the embassy because they are asking for things for a reason. So if they ask you all these questions, answer all these questions. If they ask you why Japan, give a solid answer why Japan. So this application form, it has the same level of importance as the test, as the interview. So this is the first step for you to get the scholarship. So if you don't do this good and you go and do the other test, like what if this is not, like, this is trash for saying, like if you write something in here that nothing to do, like people are gonna say it's like, oh yeah, this person doesn't even think about writing this important. Do you think they're gonna give you the scholarship? If you were someone giving a scholarship for another people, would you read your application form and say, okay, this person deserves it or not? That's what I want you to do. After you fill all this form, think for yourself. If I was gonna give like 1,000 millions of like money or like a lot of money, like it's like right now I think like went down, is like $1,000 something per month. Are you gonna give $1,000 per month for free to another person? Plus, you are gonna pay them plane tickets. Plus, you're gonna pay them the school based on your answers. If your answers like are really good enough for you to get that like requirements for you to get that scholarship, think for yourself. If you read something and you say, okay, no, if I write down this in here, and if I were the one giving the money, I wouldn't give it. So change your answer. So yeah, it's important this form too. And then the N5, I already answered that. And then say, do you recommend me to learn more Japanese for the exam? Yeah, I recommend you to learn Japanese, but as I was saying to so many people that they were asking me on Instagram, I don't recommend you at this point to go and pay in a like academy, because in the academy, like after they told me that I got the scholarship, my brother kind of tried to get me into an academy, and I studied like for 2 months, and the most I learned was hiragana. So they're gonna go in like a slow pace. Of course, you are not gonna get an intensive course, so you're gonna just waste your money. I like recommend you to learn more Japanese. I recommend you to go to the link that I sent you, that is the research link. Go back to all the past tests and find the Japanese test and try to fill it out. If you think that is super difficult, you don't understand anything from there, try to pick the words that you don't know, go and search on the internet and learn more Japanese. Because like I think internet, like in my case, I'm giving classes in Spanish. I'm giving intensive classes in Spanish every Tuesday for this like a specific reason, also for the scholarship. So I think like there are so many like classes on internet that can help you to get better, instead of just going and paying for a academy. If you are not 18 right now, if you are like 12, something like that, and you want to apply in 6 years, yeah, of course, I'm gonna recommend you to go and pay in an academy and get better. But as far as I know, in my experience, so many of my friends, they study for years and then they went to Japan, and in Japan the school is really hard, the Japanese school. So all the things that they learn in so many years, they had to learn like in a month in Japan. So you think for yourself, do I want to pay like an academy, or do I just want to go and learn on internet? And I recommend you to go and get in internet. There are so many good professors in YouTube. You can see classes, like you can be like receiving like different classes in a whole day instead of just waiting for a weekend to go in an academy. And then guess for the next one is like, ahora, ¿qué crees que poner cero implicaría no poder obtener la beca por falta de japonés? Estoy pensando en llevar clases de japonés básico de aquí al examen. Cordero, as I was saying, yeah, if you put 0 in my, like, I don't know what the embassy is gonna do. Of course, I don't work with the embassy. This is just based on my experience of what I think. So I think like this year is a requirement for you to know Japanese, at least like beginner level. It means that you should know like hiragana, katakana, and some words, some vocabulary, some like questions, some grammar, like basic information. So if it's a requirement for you to know basic information of Japanese and you write 0 in everything, of course you are showing that you don't know Japanese at all. But it's a requirement for you to know Japanese. So if you write down that you don't know Japanese, do you think they are gonna give you the scholarship? Do you think they are gonna like say, okay, this person know Japanese? If you put 0, that's based on you. What do you think? If from here until the scholarship you learn something, you can follow my classes. I think like I'm going like really like fast, like teaching people like a lot of grammar and a lot of like vocabulary and everything I can give like per week. If you follow my classes, you can put at least that you go like fair, because I already taught so much grammar, so much vocabulary, hiragana, katakana. So of course you can read something. Of course you can write something. Of course you can speak something. If you memorize it, you can say it. If you can listen, if you pay attention to my classes. If you pay attention to someone's classes, of course you can understand what I'm saying. So don't put 0 in everything, because it's a required for this year to know Japanese. But of course, don't lie. If you don't know hiragana, katakana, well, you don't have another option that to put 0, but I don't recommend it. I recommend you to study something in like free classes on internet or something, but don't put 0 in Japanese because it's a required this year. Then, ¿sabes si los exámenes deben de pasarse con alguna nota? Okay, so he's asking if I know that the test should be passed with a specific grade. And the answer is no. They don't have a specific grades for the test. So the thing works like this. So, for example, in Costa Rica, they are going to recommend someone, or in your home country. I don't know which countries. I know so many people from India have been talking to me on Instagram, but I don't know your country. So, if you're going to apply for the scholarship and you get a 60 in your test, and then you get a 50 in another test, and then you get a 30 in the Japanese test, and then they are going to compare all the grades. But what happens if all the people that apply, they also got 40, 30, 20? You are going to be the best one for all the people. So you are going to be in the top of the country. So it doesn't matter if you didn't pass all the tests. It doesn't matter if you didn't get like 100. You don't have to get like 80, 90 in the test. You should be just the best in your country. So in my case, there were three of us got recommended because the three of us got like super similar grades. I think it was like 1 point in math, or we were like exactly the same. So they chose the three of us because we have like super similar like answers, and we were in the top of the country of that year. So they don't have a specific grade, but you don't have in this year, you don't have to pass the Japanese test. You just have to like fill it out. Don't leave any test in blank. Like at least answer something. Of course, I know that the mathematics is difficult. If you don't know how to do something, you cannot write down the number. But English and Japanese, don't leave it in blank. English is gonna be just selection, or to write down some verbs or something like that, or to choose like how to put the phrase order. So of course you have the answer in there. Just put any of the answer. And in Japanese, try to do your best, like trying to answer your best, and don't leave it in blank. Put at least 3-4 answers that even if you don't know is a requirement. You have to fill out the Japanese test. If you leave it in blank, you are already canceled. You are not gonna get the scholarship because it's a requirement. So think about that too. And then you say, if I apply for undergraduate scholarship, am I available to choose the university or place where I'm going to be? Or they send me to any place in Japan? So undergraduate, I'm not like super like, mastering undergraduate. I went with specialized training. And I'm not mastering in specialized training, but I'm just telling about my experience. But I think that people can choose the scholarship based on something that I printed here. Like you have the application form, and then after you have another one here that say that the direct placement of preference from the Japanese government, scholarship from the undergraduate. You have two different forms. You have the form that we are talking right now, and you're gonna have this other paper that is also in the link that I put for this video. And in this other one, you're gonna choose like universities. You're gonna choose like it says in here, choose from the list of universities that accept direct placement, or choose from 2 universities of at most in each of the preferred fields of study or the preferred course. So you can choose universities if you have some university that you want to study. For example, I don't know, Tohoku University, Tokyo University, or if you want to study the one that I studied, Tokyo Polytechnic University, you can choose that in undergraduate. You can pull in here the name of the preference that you have. You cannot do that in specialized training. Specialized training, they are going to choose for you. They're going to send you, but the schools that they choose, they're really good schools. They choose like every year. They have the same like technical college, that they are not so bad. And then let's see, sorry if I put an answer, but the last year asking to the embassy, they told me at least the English test should be about 90. I didn't know that. So I'm sorry if that's true. Where are you from, Luis Carlos Marin? I don't know that if you should have like a specific like test requirement, because I don't know in every country. I just know like some of Costa Rica, but they didn't tell me this year that they are gonna do that you should have above 90 to get the scholarship or above 90 to get recommended. As far as I know, when I did it, it was like the best ones. So I like for these questions, you better ask in your embassy. I don't want to give you like wrong information. He's saying that last year it was English above 90. So you better ask in your embassy, okay, about the testing. This question ask in your specific embassy, because the embassies also have different ones. So for example, let's go for the 19, because I'm being here. Nota de años pasados. Yes, they asked for the last year's. These questions I already answered last live stream, so I recommend you LG Cordero to go and watch my other videos because I already answered so many questions in those videos, and it's kind of repetitive. I don't want to do that. And then, so in here, let's continue. The number 19. Number 19 is the qualifications. So I know, I'm going to say this. I know that in some countries, they require you to have some proficiency in English. For example, the TOEFL or the TOEIC or the ELTs or whatever the name is that I cannot read it. You should have like some of these tests. In Costa Rica, no. So what happens if you don't have this? I want you to ask in your specific country because I know there are some countries that requirement is to have this, some Japanese language proficiency or some English language proficiency. In the case of Costa Rica, it's not a requirement. If you don't have it, you just can put N/A, that means no answer, or you can just leave it in blank. It's not gonna affect you if you don't have the proficiency because as far as we know, like, I don't know if you guys already like did that. You are gonna have the TOEFL. The TOEFL is like $200 to apply. So if you don't have a lot of money, if you come from a really poor family, you can apply for the TOEFL before applying for this scholarship. Of course, it's not a requirement. Like, they're not gonna make you do this test just in order to put it in here. If you don't have it, just put no answer or I don't have it, or ask in your embassy. I know that there are some countries, I'm not sure Mexico, but I think there are some Latin countries that they require you to have this test. So this question, number 19, number 20, I want you to ask in your embassy if in your country is required or not. And if you don't have it, if you can put no answer or if you can leave it in blank. If you are from Costa Rica, you can leave it in blank. It's not a required in Costa Rica. Then let's continue with number 21. Number 21 is the person in your home country in case of emergency. And for this, I recommend you to put someone from your family because I'm going to tell you something. I went to Japan 6 years ago and I had so many friends. And now I talk for like with 5 people. So don't put someone that is your friend that you think that you are really close because you're gonna go and live in Japan for many years and you don't know if your relationship is gonna continue being the same. So I recommend you in this part to put someone from your family that you know, like, okay, even if you're not gonna talk to that family, it's your family. You're always gonna have contact with them. So put that contact person, put the name, the address, the phone that is not gonna change, all the email address, the relationship, and the occupation. Make sure you fill out every single part of this case of emergency because, of course, in case that, I don't know, you die in Japan or you had an accident, or like me, that I was in the hospital 1 week, they had to contact your family. And what if you give the wrong information? What are they going to do with you? If you die, what are they going to do with your body? You have to put in here someone that they can contact. And when you go to another countries, anything can happen. So make sure you write this like really clear, in a really clear letter, even if you do it in computer, like in something that they can actually read. So this is important, number 21. Then let's go with number 22. It said, if you already went to Japan, if you didn't go to Japan, just skip this question. It's okay. If you went to Japan, put the last visits that you have. If you went like for like, I don't know, so many times, put the last 2 times that you went to Japan. Then let's go for the last. The last one is, I understand and accept that all the conditions staying in the application guidelines for Japanese government Mext scholarship of 2021, and upon confirmation my qualifications for application at the state above, I hereby apply for this scholarship. This is, you are already like saying everything that I wrote in here in this application is true. You're gonna sign. So make sure you don't lie in this application form. Don't say that you were at university if you didn't go to university, because you are gonna be signing that you told the truth. So this is the application form. This is the application form for 2021. It means that this year I already give you guys the information in there. And there are some questions that people had. For example, I saw in here that something that I wanted to talk. They say in here the recommendation letter. they give you guys already something that is this. I already put it in there too. This is like a format that they have for the recommendation letter. Of course, this is gonna be good. They are saying that you can apply for this. And who can write this? They're asking in here for someone from institution. So from your school, your high school. And as I was saying with one girl from Costa Rica that was contacting me about this, when you ask for a recommendation letter, don't ask for a professor that doesn't know you, or don't ask for the principal of your school if that principal doesn't know you. Because when people write a recommendation letter, you can actually see if someone sent me a recommendation letter and they say, yeah, this student is good. This student has good grades. This student come to school always. You read that and you're going to be like, okay, yeah, he's a good student, but what else can you recommend from this person? If you ask for someone that already know you, that person is gonna say, okay, yeah, this person get good grades, this person's come on time, this person's work really good under pressure, this person is really creative, is like to work in group and stuff like that. Something that is gonna tell more about you. So when you ask for this recommendation letter, of course it's good to go and ask like the principal of your school if you had a good relationship with them, because it's gonna have like a really impact. Okay, yeah, this person have like a recommendation letter from someone higher in the institution. But if that person doesn't know you at all, of course they are not gonna write like an excellent recommendation letter. So try to ask someone that is higher from your institute, from your university, from your high school, but that at the same time at least you have talked to that person, that person at least know how you act in the school, that person know at least how you are as a student, so they can write you a better recommendation letter. And the same is going to happen if when you go to Japan, you want to send the scholarship. The same tip I'm going to give you: always when you are asked for a recommendation letter, as a person that know you, they are going to write the best recommendation letters. And what they wrote in here in this recommendation letter, so they have to put the name, the full name of the person that is writing it. They have to put the recommender name, also the title or the institution. They have to put the full like address, if it's at work or at home. I recommend you to put at work, because it's kind of like something like formal. And then the telephone and the email. And then they have in here some questions. This is just like a template that they are gonna give you. Can you change this template? Yes. But if you change it, make sure that at least the person that is writing your recommendation letter is gonna be like similar to the questions that are in here. And which ones are the questions? The question number one is like, during which period of time had you had the most frequent contact with the applicant? So if you only met a person from 1 month or like 1 week, a person is not gonna know you a lot for only seeing you once or twice. But if you ask for a recommendation letter from someone that already know you 2 years, it's gonna be a better recommendation letter to present to that person. So that's why they ask, how long have you known that person? Then also they ask like, what was the nature of your relationship? In this, the nature is gonna be like, okay, I was her professor in like chemistry, or I was the principal of the university, and this person have been participated in so many activities, so we knew each other in there. That's the kind of relationship. Then the number 3 is like, in which areas that the applicant need improvement of growth. This is important because when I was feeling to extend the scholarship in Japan, I was like asking something like this with my friend. He also applied, he also got it. But sometimes you don't like to talk about the bad parts of you. Like for example, if you say, yeah, I'm not good at time management. But when you say something bad, say something good of that bad thing. For example, if you write something good and you are going to say something bad. In my case, I think that one of the things that is bad for me is that I'm super perfectionist when I'm doing something. So perfectionist, if you say one of the bad things is that this person is perfectionist, and then people is going to read it and is going to say, but yeah, perfectionist, that sounds good to me. It doesn't sound like something that you need improvement with. So make sure that the person that is writing your recommendation letter, if they write these kind of things like perfectionist or something like that, write why. So in my case, it's like perfectionist is bad for me because it takes more time for me to like do all the things that I'm required to do. Or like it's bad for me because I get super stressed out if something doesn't turn out the way that I want it. So make sure that when you write something like that, like if it's a bad thing that you have but sounds good to other people, to make sure that they specify why is bad, why you need improvement. If you are a perfectionist, why do you need improvement in that? Because you are a perfectionist, you're going to take a long time to do your stuff, because you're going to get stressed out to do your stuff. You don't like to work in group because the things are not going to turn out the way that you want. That's the thing that you're going to need improvement. You're going to need improvement on learning how to make a balance between perfectionism and have a good work environment. So in that part of the things that you need improvement, make sure they write that. If it's something bad, write good things. And if it's something good, write the bad parts. Always use the contrary. Like, don't always say just, yeah, it's a good person, because no one in this world is perfect. We all have our imperfections. So in a recommendation letter, it's usually good to write that too. And then it says, please comment on the applicant's interpersonal skill. How does he or she work within a team? This is important to like have a good teamwork, because when you go to Japan, like you're gonna be alone. And I went to Japan when I was 18. So I got there. I didn't know, as I say in so many other like lives, I didn't know so much of English, and I didn't know Japanese at all. So I went there, and there were Latin people, of course, but there were so many people that they only talk in English. So if you are not good in teamwork, if you are not good like making relations with other people, of course it's gonna be like something bad. But at the same time, if they write down, okay, yeah, this person is not good at teamwork, or this person is like really shy, he cannot open to other people, but this person, like after some time, is willing to open to other people, or this person, like it just take time, but in the end is really friendly. When people get to know them, is really friendly. So in that way, if they write, okay, it's bad in teamwork, but this person is willing to do good. Why? Because when you go to Japan, as I said, you're gonna be alone. There are gonna be so many kids from another countries that you are not gonna know their language. They are gonna communicate with you in Japanese or in English. So it's important to like actually like be able to like put relationship with other people, to talk to other people. If not, you're gonna feel so alone in Japan if you don't make friends, if you don't talk to other people. So it's important to have this, like if you are willing to work in teams or not. And then the number 5 is, how would you describe the applicant leadership skills? Leadership of course is like, if you're gonna go to Japan, you're gonna be like representing Costa Rica, so you're the leader of Costa Rica, or you're the leader of your country. So if you're gonna go there, you're gonna be a leader, so you should have like good leadership skills, sorry. And that they should write it. If they write a recommendation letter and they write that you're not good at teamwork, you're not good, you don't have any good like these leadership skills, that you don't need to improve anything, that recommendation letter is not gonna be really good. At least that's what I think. I don't know what the embassy is gonna think, but in my case, when I tried to extend the scholarship in Japan, that's what my professors always told me, that is when you write a good like recommendation letter, you are not gonna talk like bad things about the person. So make sure you get someone that is gonna write something that is like a really good recommendation letter. And then the number 6 is, please comment on the applicant's degree of self-confidence. This is really good to have a self-confidence when you're traveling to another country. So this question is really good. If you're going to use this template or you're not going to use it, make sure they answer this question. And then the number 7 is, please comment on the applicant's personal character. Like if you are like super explosive, and you like, for example, this is important to know for them. Why? Because you're gonna go to Japan with a full scholarship, and what happens if you are a really explosive person, or that you just like when you decide something, you just decide it in 2 seconds and then you do it on your way. and you go to Japan, and you are in Japan, and then like after some months you are like, you know what, I don't want to continue with this scholarship, I'm gonna go back to my country, like I don't care, and you just take a plane and go back to the country. That's not good. So that's why they need to know how your character is, if you are actually like responsible person, if you actually like follow what you say, if you like in here you're gonna sign off and you're gonna say I'm gonna study in Japan for the 3 years, and yes, I'm gonna follow all the rules that you have, but in the end you don't do it, that's not having a good character. So of course it's important that they explain your character, how you are as a person, because with these questions they can know more about you. So in this way, this is important recommendation letter, because you're gonna fill out the application form, and in the application form you are gonna fill it out, you are gonna say everything about you, or the good things that you want. Of course you wanna be the best, but in a recommendation letter is how other people see you, and the people that is going to give you the scholarship is other people, they are not you. So of course for them it's important to see another perspective, sorry, of you. So who better than your professor or another people? That's why they require a recommendation letter. They can know better of you and in another perspective as well. And then they have the number 8, that is please indicate your overall evaluation of the applicant. If they strongly recommend you, if they recommend you like, so yeah, this person is good, but maybe not, or if they recommend you with reservation, it means that yeah, I'm recommending this person, but if something happen, it's not my problem. That's with reservation. Then the number 9 is like pre-write whatever additional comments that you have, or if you want to put attached pages or something like that. And in the top it said that you can actually change it, the format, if you want. And then they have to sign it and the date. So that's the recommendation letter. And then let's see more of the questions. It says, en mis últimos años he llevado pocos cursos de la U. Eso es lo que hay que llevar como notas. Ellos siempre piden notas de años pasados. Yeah, they are asking for the last 3 years. So there is someone from Costa Rica that asked me something that I wanted to talk today. She asked me that she didn't go to university. She went to like 1 month or something like that last year. And then this year she went to university. She didn't finish. So what about the grades? How to write the grades? In this, I asked her to go in as in the embassy, but it's important the last 3 years. So if you took just like, I don't know, 3 courses, or you took like 5 courses, like it doesn't matter. These are the grades that you have in the last 3 years. Like even if you took 1 course, that was what you were what you were studying last year. So you have to give the grades. It doesn't matter if it's like the whole, like if you are taking 15 grades, or if you are taking only 1 grade, because your university is only the last 3 years. And then let me see, what if you don't have a recommendation letter? You should have a recommendation letter. This is really important. You should have it. It's a requirement. It's in the list of the paper that you should submit. And let me see, I think I saw that one of these papers. Like there is one that is application guidelines. In there, I want you guys to go and read that. I put it in the description box. They like that link that I give you is gonna give you the whole information of these scholarships. All the like who cannot apply, who can apply when you get to Japan, the health, all of this. One of the requirements, one of the papers that you should give is the recommendation letter. So what if you don't have it? Go and find someone that is willing to write your recommendation letter. Is a requirement. You should give it. As I said before, in here, like give them all the papers that they are asking. If they ask you for an apple, you go and bring them an apple, and you bring them the best apple that you can find in the farm. So what am I saying with this? If they are asking you for a recommendation letter, you go and find someone that write you a recommendation letter. It's in the papers that you have to submit. I see so many people in past year that they say like, you have a whole list of the papers that you have to submit. They all have to be like translated in the language that of your country. If you are in Costa Rica, you speak Spanish. So you have to translate it in English. They have to be translated in English or Japanese. It doesn't have to be translated for how do you say, like official translator, it means that you can translate it yourself or you can ask someone else to do it. But they have in there a whole list of papers. And I have seen so many people that they just fill out the form, they get the grades, and they just give that. Because last year someone asked me about that too. It's like, hey, I just give this to the embassy. I just went and leave it in the office. They didn't even talk to people in the office. They just present the papers like that. If the papers are not incomplete, the embassy can contact you or the embassy cannot contact you. So you are the one that is gonna say, okay, I'm giving them the whole package of papers that they are asking me. So in case they have like any doubt, they can read all my papers. But if you don't submit all your papers, if you don't give them all the requirements that they are asking you to give them, that application is not going to be complete, and then there is going to be someone else that is applying for the same scholarship, and then that person is going to give a really complete like package of papers. Like, of course that person is going to be so much better with you just only thinking of the papers. That's why I'm telling you guys, fill every single paper that they are asking you. Give every single paper. Don't make the embassy call you back and say, hey, you didn't submit this paper, because not in every country they are going to do that. There are some countries that if you don't submit the whole application, they are just not going to call you to make the test. So it's your fault if they don't ask you, or if they call you back and say, hey, you cannot apply because you didn't submit all the papers. So that's why I'm giving you guys the link in there. In that link in the description box of this live, you can read all the papers that you have to submit. As I said, some countries require the TOEFL or TOEIC or the GLPT. Some countries like Costa Rica doesn't require it, so you don't have to give it. But make sure you read everything, and after you have all the papers, make sure you call the embassy and tell them, I have this and this and this and this and this paper. Is this okay? Can I submit my papers now, or do I need something else? But don't go to the embassy and just leave any like random paper that you find, and don't give them the whole package of paper that they are asking, because that is taking points from you. And it doesn't matter if you submit the application form, but if you don't submit all the papers that they are asking, like your application is not going to be like really valid. You're not like demonstrated that you really want. So if you don't have an application, like a recommendation letter, I recommend you to go and ask someone to write a recommendation letter from you. Then let's see, say I'm from Costa Rica, and I think I should specify more. They recommend me that score, taking into account that with that score is almost sure you will be taking into account. Okay, yeah, so they didn't say that you should be like more than 90. They recommend you to be 90 to be taken into account. So yeah, like of course, if you're gonna have like many, like 100 or a 90 or a 80, of course, like you have a high chance to get the scholarship. But as I said before, I don't know if some countries have the requirement from the grades. So I don't want to tell you guys don't do this, and just go and ask your country like if they have specific requirements. If they don't have it in the web page, if they don't have it in their guidance, so I'm pretty sure they don't have a specific grades for that. But some countries, like say, as I said before, they require some like like GLPT or stuff like that. But it's different if in every country. People have been asking me a lot, and I want to say this. This is the number 5 video that I made, the 5th video I made. I made for application, I made for test, I made a video for the interview, I made a live stream last week. I'm making this live stream, and so many people have been contacting me on Instagram and asking me things that I already explained before in another live. So I can help you guys. Like, it's not that I don't want to help you, because if I didn't want to help you, I wouldn't be doing this. I want to help you all to get that scholarship, to at least submit the best paper you can, and at least if you speak Spanish, to know some Japanese before going. But don't ask me on Instagram like questions that I already answered in here, or that I already answered in some videos, because it's getting kind of annoying. Like in the beginning, I was like, okay, yeah, I already made the video, but yeah, I can answer it to you, But it's been like so much, like in the past days, so many people have been contacting me, but they are not watching the whole videos, and I'm taking my time to give you guys advice. So I want you guys to watch all my videos. And after you watch all my videos, if you have one question, you can contact me, but not before, because Like so many people, I told them, hey, I already made the video. You can watch this video, you have more information in here. And they were like kind of mad with me because they say, you say you're gonna help, but you don't want to answer this. I was like, it's not that I don't want to help. It's like I'm giving you all the information and you don't want to do your research. There are so many people that ask me, which papers do I have to submit? You want to apply for the scholarship? And you go on YouTube and you find my like channel, and you go to my Instagram and you search me on Instagram. You spend all that time to find me. It's the same time that you can go and like use to search on internet on Papi Google and say, hey, Daddy Google, how can I find the requirements for the application form? So all of this, watch all my videos, and after you watch everything, if you have any doubt, contact me. But if you ask me something that I already explained, I'm not gonna answer. And if you want me to help you out, don't send me Instagram, hey, or hey girl, or hi Vero, or hi Vero, I'm your friend from YouTube. Hey, no. If you want me to help you, you write to me on Instagram and it's like, hey, I'm from this country. I'm gonna apply for this specific scholarship. I watched your whole videos and I have this question. So I'm gonna answer you. Because like these messages of hey, and then I say hey, and they are like, how are you? And then I'm like, how are you? And they're like, good. It's like, just tell me. I know you need my help, so just tell me what you need me for. So it's not that I want to be like bad. I want to help you, but it's getting annoying. Like they are asking me things that I already explained, and I don't know how to say it, but if you have any doubt after watching all my videos, I'm gonna help you. Like 100% sure. People that have been asking me stuff that I didn't say already, they know I answer in Instagram to everyone that have been asking me stuff, and I'm willing to help any of you to read your application forms to everything. But first, you watch all the information that I already give. So let's continue. However, it's not necessary. Okay. For how long did you prepare for the test? So this is something I didn't prepare for the test. So I was in a scientific high school in Costa Rica, and in that high school they taught me like calculus and all of that. And then I went to a university. So I applied twice. So I applied when I was in high school, but in that one I didn't even know. Like I didn't even do my research. So I just went and applied, and I didn't pass, of course. And then the second time I applied, but I studied like 1 day before or 2 days before, and I was like making so many times the test of mathematics. I knew already that it doesn't matter if I study English. I wasn't gonna get good like 2 days before the test, so I didn't study English. But I knew that I had some good basis from my high school of mathematics, because when I was practicing the test, I was answering most of it because I already knew. Because in my high school they made me do the test without calculator, so I knew how to make the test. So I didn't actually prepare for a long time, and I got the scholarship. But I don't recommend you guys to do the same as me. I did it twice. Of course, I got it the second time. But if you have time right now to study to make yourself better in the test, do it. Don't wait until the last time. I always wait until the last time to do this stuff, and it works for me because I work under pressure. But I don't recommend it. If you want the scholarship, if you want to win the scholarship in your country, just go now. The test is gonna be in August. You can do your best and search information and practice the test and practice the English, practice the Japanese, so you can actually do it. So don't follow my step. And then it say, so the person that filled that paper can be, for example, my graduation project advisor. Yes, it can be your undergraduate, your graduation project advisor. Is someone from your school, is someone that know you, is someone that is working in the school. It's not like, of course you're not going to ask the recommendation letter from your family, because of course they are going to write everything that is super good. Of course you're not going to ask for a recommendation letter from your best friend. You have to ask for someone that is working, that it have like some level, that when they read the recommendation letter, they are like, okay. So for example, when I came from Japan, I got some recommendation letters from the professors, from the one from my thesis. I got a recommendation letter from the one that was like the advisor of all the architecture, the director or the principal from our architecture. I also got a recommendation letter from my advisor as, like a first year student in university. And then I also got a recommendation letter from my boss from my work. So these kind of persons, like when someone asks me for a recommendation letter, they're gonna search for this person. Who is this person? Is this person like someone that is not even working, or someone that is her best friend, or someone that I don't know, is really close to her, or is someone that actually works in a university, is actually doing like a really good job, is someone that is really I don't know like how to say it, like I don't know how to explain that in English, but ask for someone that is not your family. Yes, you can ask your graduation project advisor, and anyone from university. I think it's gonna be good for recommendation letter. It said, what made you choose this scholarship instead of undergraduate scholarship? So what made me I always thought that, to be honest, the specialized training scholarship is the easiest one to get, because you only have 3 tests. And then the first thing that I thought, it was like specialized training is 3 years, and by the time I went to Japan, this is something so personal, but at the time I went to Japan, I was super close to my mom and super close to my family. I never left the country, and I was studying like far from my home, but at the same time it was difficult for me to be far from my family. So I was like, specialized training is 3 years. The other one, undergraduate, is 5 years. What if I go to Japan and I don't like Japan? I have to be there for 5 years. What if I go there and something happened, and I want to go back to my country, or if I cannot be good with the culture, if I cannot learn the language, if I'm feeling miserable, I'm going to be there for 5 years, or if I don't like the career. In the end, so many of these things happen. Like, I have some family problems when I was in Japan. My brother died when I was in Japan. And then when I was in Japan, by the 5 years, in the end of the 5 years, I wasn't feeling happy. So that's why I left. And then I was like, so I'm like really satisfied that I chose the specialized training, because the specialized training is 3 years. You're gonna go get like a really good degree in the specialized training, actually, that is for like some specification for the how you say it, for the technical college. So in my case was architecture, so I specialized in design when I went to the technical college. So it was actually like going to Costa Rica, the undergraduate, you have to study, as I say in the past life stream, you're going to study a bunch of things. You're going to study the cultural things, you're going to study physics, mathematics, all of this. When you go to this specialized training college, you're going to study, like, of course, some mathematics, some Japanese classes, you're going to take some English classes, but you're going to be studying a specific an area of study in a career. Undergraduate is more like open. You're going to study everything, and your last year, you're going to decide the path that you want to study. You're going to decide specifically what you're going to do your thesis in. So that's why I chose the specialized training, most of anything, because it was 3 years, because it was easier to get the scholarship, and because it was more specific than the undergraduate. I didn't did so much research in the undergraduate. I didn't know like which career I wanted to take, or I didn't know which school in Japan was really good. And I applied for that like 6 years ago. And on that time, guys, I didn't even have a computer on my own. So it was like, kind of like hard to do all this research. For now, it's more open. You guys just go internet, YouTube, Google, and search everything. But even like 6 years ago, for people like me that I'm from a really rural area, it was difficult to find all this information. So that's why I applied for the specialized training, and I don't regret applying for that one and not for the undergraduate, because as I said before, you can still extend that scholarship. You can still go with specialized training and graduate from university. That's what I did. So in the end, I came back. I have a bachelor degree, and I also have a technical degree, and I also graduated from Japanese school. So in the end, it was like if I went with the undergraduate scholarship. So that's why I chose it. And then he said, are you going to talk about certificate of health of this stream? It's only for the application form. when I tried to get a Mext scholarship last year, I have some problems getting someone to fill that. Okay, so this live was specific for the application form, but when you submit the application form, in some countries, I know there are many countries that they don't require you to bring them this thing that is the health certificate, that it means that you have to go and pay to a private doctor to make so many tests on your body to see if you actually don't have any weird disease that you can go to Japan and die the first years, something like that. So many countries doesn't require this, because in most of the countries, in order for you to get the health certificate, you have to pay. So most of the countries, what they do is you submit the papers, and then after you apply for the test and you got the spot in that country, and they are going to recommend you to Japan, they are going to ask you, can you give me the health certificate? So you go and pay. But that doesn't happen in every country. There are some countries that require you to submit that in the first everything together with the application form. So I wasn't going to talk about it, because like it's different for every country, so you have to actually go and ask in your home country. But to fill in this kind of paper, the health certificate, you have to go and pay for a private doctor to do it if you want to do it quick, because there are so many tests that they have to do, and the x-ray and all of this. So I recommend you to call the embassy of Japan in your country and ask if in your country they are requiring you to bring that certificate at the same time of the application or no. In my case, 6 years ago, I don't know right now, but 6 years ago when I did it, no, 7 years already when I did it, I submitted this health certificate after I got selected from my country. They required me to bring that because they were gonna recommend me to Japan. So after I did everything, the test and everything, and the interview, they asked me for that paper. I don't know how it's working right now in Costa Rica for that. If anyone of you know, you can write it in there so you can help them. But I recommend you to ask in your home country for this specific thing. And then it said, thank you for the information. Con gusto. How many recommendations later do you recommend to have? La recomendación debe estar en inglés. Yes. All the recommendation letters, every single paper that you submit has to be translated, because all the papers, like you are gonna submit this, okay? You go and you're like, ooh, I'm gonna get a scholarship. So you go and bring the papers to the embassy. The embassy read your papers, and then they are like, okay, you pass the test, you pass everything. I'm gonna send this to Japan, but you're from Costa Rica. You speak Spanish. And in Japan, they don't speak Spanish. Not everyone. So, of course, if they send all your papers and everything is in Spanish, they are not going to understand. That's why they are requiring you to translate it in English or in Japanese. So if the person that is writing your recommendation letter, they write it in Spanish, you should help them to translate it into English. And in the case of how many do I recommend, in here they only ask for one recommendation letter. They don't ask for so many, but it wouldn't hurt to ask many people to have recommendation letter, because if you have more than one, they are gonna write things that are different, and then after combining, it's gonna be good. But I don't know if the embassy is gonna accept so many. I don't know that. But in my case, if they're gonna give you a recommendation letter, it's not gonna be sealed, and you're gonna read it, and in the end, you are like, okay, it's not so good. Then you can actually get the other one. And give me just 1 second because my computer is dying. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, I didn't see that the computer was dying. Okay, so how many? It depends on you. You will see if one is gonna be enough, or if you want to present both. But they only require one recommendation letter. Then let's continue. This questions in more difficult. What kinds of things do you think you can contribute to Japan or your home country through your experience studying in Japan? I answered this question in the beginning of this live stream. That is really difficult. Why, as I said before, is something that you're gonna learn in Japan that you're not gonna learn in your country. That's my recommendation, because if you're gonna learn something in Japan that you don't have in your country, it's gonna be so much easier for you to like contribute in your country in that area. For example, in the Japanese area, if you're gonna study Japanese studies, and in your home country there are not so many academies of Japanese, or there are not so many translators, that's a way for you to contribute to your country. But in architecture, for example, for me, I'm saying like the things that I know. For example, in architecture, that I study architecture, you're gonna be like, okay, so is like difficult for, you know, like for people in Costa Rica to do research for like wind, because there is not any wind tunnel in Costa Rica or something like that. In my case, I study architecture in university. This is exactly what I wrote when I extended the scholarship, because in the beginning I just wrote I wanted to study civil engineering, so of course I wanted to help Costa Rica, not in houses but in roads, because I'm from a really small town in Costa Rica, and the roads, they suck. They are really bad where I'm from, and there are so many holes in the roads. So in the beginning, I wrote that I wanted to learn new techniques to help my hometown in this way, in the roads, in the bridge, and all of this, all the structural thing. But then after I went to Japan and I studied architecture. So when I extended, I had to do all this paperwork again. So in that, I already chose the university I was gonna go to. So before applying for the extension, sorry. So I wrote that in the university that I went because of a laboratory in specific. I chose the university just for that laboratory. The university that I study in Japan is not like a super famous university, but they have like a really good like research laboratory for architecture. That is the Tokyo Polytechnic University. They do so many research for all the infrastructure of Japan. So I chose that university for that specific thing. So I said, I'm choosing this and I'm gonna contribute in Costa Rica because this career that I'm studying this university, I can explore the wind tunnel. I can do tests in wind tunnel, something that Costa Rica doesn't have. So when I go back to my home country, to Costa Rica, I'm gonna pass my knowledge into this. And did I did it? Yes, I wrote a research that is already published in a journal. In case any one of you want to read it, is called the. Oh my God, it's a long name. Let me read it again. So the journal is the International Journal of Renewable Energy Research. And the name of my research is really not International Journal. Okay. When you go, you can find it in the March, in the submission for March, and you just search my name, Veronica Salas, and then you're gonna find it in there. I did a research based on the like wind turbine in Japan. I did a specific design for wind turbines and solar panels together in a new structure for Costa Rica. So that's how I helped Costa Rica. I contribute with that. And how did I contribute to Japan? Because the research that I did was based on the Japanese style or the Japanese design area. So when you answer this question, you just have to answer like, if you study in Japan, think about this. If you study in Japan, and you're gonna learn something new in Japan that is not gonna be in your country, how or why are you studying that? First of all, you have to know this. Why you are studying that and why in Japan? And the second one is like, if you already know that in Japan, because of these reasons are the why, the how you're gonna contribute in your country. So for example, if it's music in Japan, you wanna study a specific instrument in Japan. In Costa Rica or in your home country, they don't have it. So that's the thing that you can contribute to your country. You are studying something new, something that in your country they don't have it. So that's the answer that you should put, is like, I'm gonna like contribute in this. So when you choose the area of study, when you choose the field of study, just go and do your research. How many technical institutes are in Japan? Which careers? And what do they teach? And what are the courses? And then when you choose and when you see that something is different, that something is new, or that there is even an institute. I have a friend that she wanted to study fashion, specifically in one fashion school in Japan, and she wrote it down in that application form, and she say, my dream is to study in this specific school. It had been my dream for my whole life, and for this and this reason. And she got it. She got the scholarship, and they sent her to that school. So when you think about it, you have to, the things that you can contribute is the things that you're gonna learn in Japan. Like, it can be in Japanese, it can be in your career, it can be like personal with culture, it's something like that. So, and then it's like, I love this channel. Thank you. And then it's like, I need to submit my last 3 years of education in general. So, for example, I can submit this year's scores, 10 and 11th grade only. Yes, but also, like, there are some schools, I don't know how is your school, but there are some schools that they have for semesters, or they have like every 4 months or every 2 months. So if your school is the one that is like every 6 months, you can submit the 6 months of this year, because you still have like, the application form is like, you have to submit it, and the 6 months is gonna be June, or July is gonna end the semester. So you still have time to get those scores, but you can, like, if you don't have them, you can go and bring them from the other countries, from the past countries, and then the country, sorry, for the past years. Oh my god, what am I talking about? So yeah, you can like submit it for the other years if you don't have this year's score yet, but if you have them, you can submit it. And there is something really important. So many people ask me this, and I forgot, I wanted to talk about this. So many people say they are asking me for my diploma, for my high school diploma. I have to submit it, but I haven't graduated from high school. What should I do? You can get a certification in your school saying that you're going to graduate, because that's what I did the first year that I applied. If you get a certification from the principal or something like that in your high school saying that you're going to graduate, of course, they are going to give it to you. And that is also like going to be like in the same level as saying that you're going to get your diploma. And after, if you get chosen from your country, of course, in the end of the year, you already have your diploma, so they can submit that to Japan. But you should have like something, a certification or your diploma, something that say that you are graduating, that next year, if you get the scholarship, you can travel, that you're not gonna have any difficulties because you didn't pass a class and then you have to like cancel the scholarship. That's not good. So you have to submit something. And then maestra que hasta ellos se lo piden. Yeah, exactly. Like, so the embassy said that you can even ask them for the recommendation. So that's good. And then, concuerdo con, do you think it is possible to learn the basic of Japanese in 4 months? Yes, I think it is really possible to learn, because let me tell you something. I studied in Japan from April 2014 until until March 2015. And in that year, that wasn't even like a whole year, it's like 11 months. I had like summer vacation that is like 2 months, and then I have winter vacations, and then I have some more holidays. So I didn't study the whole year. And I got to the intermediate high level of Japanese. It means that in 4 months, you can pass the beginner level. Like, that's why like I'm doing already like my classes in Spanish, and I'm giving my classes like really like, like really intense Japanese, because I want people to learn as fast as they can. You can be like really good in Japanese if you try. But to be good in a language, you have to study hard. You cannot be good in Japanese if you study only like 30 minutes per day during the 4 months. No, that's not gonna be enough for you to learn the language. Japanese is a really difficult language. You should study at least 1 hour, 2 hours per week, like to study new language, and then after try to memorize it and try to practice. But it all depends on you. It all depends on how much you want to study, and it all depends on how much you practice. There is people that, my friend, he got like a really high level of Japanese in 1 year. So it all depends on you. Oh, gracias, Emma. And then it said, how do you extend your 3 years of scholarship to 5? I explained that in my last live stream. If you want to go and check that live stream, it's long as this one, but I answer so many questions too. I'm going to answer really quick because I feel bad not answering. But you have to submit so many papers again after, like, in your last months of in the college, the technical college, if you have more than 95% of the grades, it means that if you have 12 classes, from all the 12 classes, you should have like a maximum or 2Bs and the rest A. And if you in your grades is gonna be like S, you should have like maximum like 2A and the rest 2A's and the rest A. It means that you should have more than 95 or in each class. In Japan, the grades are not in numbers. In Japan, they are based on letters S, A, B, C. So S, for example, is like, I don't know, 4 credits. A is like 3, B is like 2, C is like 1, or if they have it like in some schools, they have it that is like A, B, C. So they are gonna count the points. So if they give you like 95, over 95 is gonna be S, like below 95 is gonna be A, and below like 80 is gonna be B. So they count how many A's, how many B's you have. So in the end, you should have like a general grade of 95. So it means that you should have like more than 95 in most of your classes. And then you should have like more than 85 in most of them. Only like 2 can be 85, and the rest of your classes should be 95. That's one of the requirements. The other requirement is that you should have 95% of attendance. It means that if you go to Japan, you should go to classes, because I have so many people that they wanted to send the scholarship, but the first year they took Japan like a travel country, like, oh, I'm in Japan, I'm gonna party, yeah, I go here, I have free money, I have free education, and they didn't attend school always, so they couldn't extend, and they had to go back to their countries because they didn't find job after. So that's some of the requirements, that you have to submit some recommendation letter, you have to submit a big essay and some papers like this. But first get the scholarship and then think about extending the scholarship, okay? And then say, great information, thank you for sharing, you're welcome. And say, thank you, you're welcome. And say, you know how many people pass everything of the Mext, or you only pass? No, I don't even know like how many people pass everything, because I don't even remember my scores. And as I said before in this live, I don't know if you just connected to the live, but I said in the beginning that it's just the best of your country. So so many people can be best in your country, but they don't pass the test. So I don't know, like I don't know the grades of other people. I don't even remember my grades, but yeah, that's all. And ya para escribir en inglés cansa pensar en todo lo que escribe. Well, that's some practice for you if you're practicing English. And so that's all the questions that you guys have, or you guys have any other question? If you guys want me to talk something else related with the Mext scholarship in another live, let me know in there. I hope to tell you how everything goes in there. Yeah, tell me, all of you that are watching this live, let me know later on if you pass the scholarship, like if something that I said help you out with this process. And it will be like really, like I will be really happy if I'm able to help like any person to get this scholarship. And make sure you like this video and you comment in there. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, you go right now and subscribe to my channel, and then come back to this live chat. Because so many people, they don't subscribe to my channel and they don't watch all the videos, but they go to Instagram and they ask me so many questions and they want me to help them, but they didn't even watch all my videos. So that kind of feels, like, hey, like I'm helping you out, can you at least watch my videos, all my information, and then ask me? So go, all of you, subscribe to my channel. If you haven't, go and subscribe, and then comment on this live when I turn it off, so this live can get to more people after I turn it off, because YouTube recommend the videos after when I turn all of this off. When I get out of the live stream, if it has many likes, or if it has many views and it has some comments, then YouTube is gonna recommend it to more people that want to study for the scholarship. But if no one like, if no one comment, if no one like share or anything, then this video is gonna be seen by you guys that are seeing this video right now. So if you like this video, please go and comment after something in the end of this video. It's gonna really help me out, and it's gonna really help out so many other people that want to learn about this scholarship as well. This information can get to more people, and that's what I really want. I want to inform so many people about this. And then I'm gonna answer real advice. Thank you so much. How to tell you about how everything goes in the application. Okay, let me know if you pass. And then can I ask you in Instagram about how good I filled the application once I filled them? Yes. So in Instagram, I'm gonna be answering questions that I didn't answer in any video. As I said, if you ask me something that I already say in these videos, I'm not gonna answer, because I already took my time to give you advices, to give you tips, to make videos, to edit videos, to make live. So watch all the information that I give in these 5 different videos about the scholarship. And after that, if you have questions, send it to me. If it's about the application form, something that I didn't explain today in this live, I can help you out. If you fill everything in the application form and you want me to check it out, if you want me to give you any advice, if you want me to tell you, hey, this maybe like you can like do it better, I can do it. My Instagram is whatupb. If there is not so many people, because I don't know like how many people is gonna be, so if there is like some small people that need help also with like translating some words, or like if you write something and it doesn't sound really good, I can help you out with that. Just write me on Instagram. But if there is so many people, I'm not gonna be able to do it. Like these past days, there is so many people asking me stuff on Instagram, so I haven't even replied to many of them, so I'm sorry for that. But yeah, I can help you out. Just send me the application form, and if I have time, I'm gonna answer to you the same day or the next day. And then what else? ¿Sabes si es posible aprender todo lo que te piden de japonés para la beca en lo que queda de año? But for the scholarship, they don't require you to know like really high level of Japanese. So he's asking if I think that it's possible to learn everything that they require of Japanese by the end of the year. They don't require you to have a high level of Japanese. If it's the specialized training scholarship, they require you to have the like beginner level, to have like some basic things of Japanese. So yeah, I think you can do that. By the end of the year, you can get really good in Japanese if you really study hard. But they don't require to be really good. You are gonna get the scholarship. If you get the scholarship next year, you're gonna have a whole year of Japanese studies in an institute in Japan. So it's not a requirement that you have to know like all Japanese. And then what's better, to learn a good English or focus on the Japanese? I think that is better if you don't know any Japanese at all and you know some English. I think it's good for you to learn the basics of Japanese, to learn some grammar, basic grammars. One thing that is good for you to learn Japanese, to learn grammar, is if you go and search the GLPT N5, that is the beginner level, N5 like grammar, or N5, I don't know, vocabulary. And if you study that, you're gonna get the beginner level. But also, if you know nothing of Japanese, but you know some English, I recommend you to watch videos in YouTube. It doesn't have to be me. It can be someone else. People talking English, so you can practice. You can be better. Listen to music, watch movies all this time, so you can actually get a good grade in English. Because if you don't study English and you are trying to get better in Japanese, but you don't know anything of Japanese, like you're not gonna get a good score in English, and you're not gonna get a good score in Japanese. So you should know beginner level of Japanese to be able to apply for the scholarship. But you can always try to get a better English in order to get a good score in the test. So I think it's good to focus on getting a really good English, but it's also good to get like a really good beginner level in Japanese. And with this, like as I said, you can watch so many YouTube videos. It doesn't have to be me if you don't know Spanish. I don't give classes in English. And there is also one thing, because there is so many people. There have been like 6 people already. And I want to say, I don't know if any of you is watching this video, if any of you that ask me, but there is like 5 people that say they send me this. and it's like, hello, Veronica. I watched your videos on YouTube and I saw that you are giving Japanese classes for free in YouTube and I want to apply for the scholarship. I was wondering if you can give me private classes for free. I'm not giving private classes for free. I'm helping you in YouTube. I'm helping people in Spanish in YouTube, but I'm not giving private classes. All the private classes that I'm giving, I'm getting paid for. And I'm not asking for money in YouTube. I'm giving it for free. But if it's a private classes, I'm not gonna give private classes for free because private classes is like I have to do the class specific for you. And 5 people or 6 people have been asking me that. They want free classes of Japanese for private. They don't even want it to be in a live stream. They want it private. I'm not giving free classes for private. I'm giving free classes in YouTube in Spanish. I'm not giving in English. I'm sorry. If you want to study in English, Japanese, there are so many different professors. I think there is one that is Kira Sensei or something like that. In the past live stream, we were talking about that. But don't ask me about private classes for free because I'm not giving private classes for free. And it's kind of like degrading when they ask me for that because I think like I'm doing an effort to give it for free in Spanish. And it's kind of like, I don't feel good when they ask me like, hey, give me free classes of Japanese. Like no one is going to give you free private classes for Japanese. So don't ask me like that. I don't like that. I'm giving in Spanish free classes. I'm not charging anyone. You can watch the videos. You can learn as much as you can. And it's okay for me, but not in English. And yeah, that's what I wanted to say. So don't even ask me to get free private classes of Japanese because I'm not going to do that. And they say, how hard is to get a work permit in Japan? The scholarship can give you some advantage in this process. Okay, so you can get a work permit after some time. I think it's like 3 months or 6 months. I think it's 6 months of living in Japan. You can go to this place. I don't remember right now how is the name. I can do the research. But after like 6 months, you can go and apply and you have a visa. So when you go with a scholarship in Japan, you have the student visa and they are going to give you a permit to work that I have it somewhere in there. That is just a stamp. They don't give you like a paper or anything like that. They just put a stamp in your ID, in your residence, because when you go to Japan with the scholarship, they are going to give you a residence card. You'll have the student scholarship, but you can get the residence card because you're going to be living in Japan. So with that residence card in the back, they're going to put a stamp. And since you are a student, you only work for 28 hours per week. It means that you can only do part-time job. You cannot do the, like the full-time job because your visa is a student visa. So if you work more than 28 hours and they find out, you're going to get in trouble. But yeah, it's easy actually to get the work permit because you already have the student visa and you are like a scholarship student from the Japanese government. So they are going to give it to you easy. They just give you this kind of law that you can only work 28 hours. Then it's like, should I take the TOEFL as a practice or I'd rather find a more focused way to prepare for this test? I think like if you already know really good English, you can take the TOEFL because the TOEFL is expensive. The TOEFL is like $200. And if you don't know any English and you just want to take the TOEFL test to practice, it's going to be a waste of money and a waste of time. But also, if you are really good in English and you want to apply for the TOEFL, I recommend you to do the TOEFL before you go to Japan. In Japan, is really like important, like the TOEIC in Japan and the TOEFL. If you want to apply for a university after the scholarship, they are going to ask you for the TOEFL or they are going to ask you for the TOEIC. So if you are really good at English, I recommend you to get the TOEFL before going or the first year in there. But if you're not good in English, don't waste $200 to make the TOEFL test. The TOEFL is a hard test. So I recommend you to practice in internet. There are so many TOEFL like kind of things in here on internet. So you can do it on internet and it's going to be free. But this live is already like almost 2 hours. So if you guys don't have any more questions, I'm gonna leave you guys because I'm thirsty and I don't know where is my water. But wait. I found my Coke. So yeah, I think I can leave you guys already. No more questions. I'm gonna leave you guys and watch all my videos. And after, if you have questions, after you watch all my videos, you can contact me on Instagram. It's whatupb. Just real quick, no free classes for private. Don't ask me that. I'm not even gonna answer your message about that. Don't ask me anything that I already explained in these videos. And if you need help with the application form after you write it down, I'm really willing to help. I have been helping so many people already. But sometimes when you ask me something that I already explained, it's kind of like I don't feel good like answering that, because it's like I'm doing all the effort. I already got the scholarship. I already went to Japan. I'm not even applying anymore to the scholarship. I'm doing this to help people. But if the people doesn't even watch my videos and they just want me to give them all the information in private, that doesn't make me feel good. So watch all the videos. If you have any more questions about it, I'm gladly gonna help you. I'm gonna help you with the process. If you need to practice English, you can write to me on Instagram in English and I can help you out. If you need to practice Japanese, you can write to me in Japanese and I can tell you, hey, this doesn't sound good. If you want me to check your application form, you can send it to me on Instagram. But no free classes, no questions that I already answered. And that's all. Sorry. Bye. I'm gonna get out of here. If you had any more comments, please comment in this video after I go out of the live. And thank you for joining the live. Thank you for being in this live for like 2 hours already. And I hope all the information I give you guys today was helpful. And I hope all this process is really good. And if you really want to go to Japan and you get the scholarship, please let me know if I help you somehow. And that's all. So, bye.